Offering to the नानां जनाशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साधुजातं सागरललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च। हे कृष्ण रघुनाथवितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदं सागरललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haribhye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much to this nice little cozy crowd. At least you came, and you know, that's Prabhupada is happy. Prabhupada is happy with all of you. Not that he is upset with anybody else. I'm not saying that. That's not my intention. But you made it, and that's good. You have many devotees who are traveling and going, and some vacation time, right? So we can't do much about it. So we have been going through the Bhagavad Gita chapter by chapter, and I think if we try, we can just accomplish all the 18 chapters today. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because let's have an attempt at this, so that in the new year we can do something good. Let's finish next week. We have Kutu Maharaj coming, so that's gone, and then 28th we are going to have some special program. So we are pretty much, classes are done. So okay, so for each chapter, so far whatever we have done, can someone, one person, if you can give me what is the essence of that each chapter, just in one line, basically, no further, no details. Okay, who wants to say what happens in chapter 1 we talked about? Yes.
Arjun is bewildered and lamenting.
So he is in illusion, right? He is in illusion, and how we compare it with the life is that life is also a place of, a battlefield. It's just like a battlefield, and we need to seek guidance from higher source. So he had the good fortune of having Krishna himself there to guide him. We can take guidance from the words of Krishna, which has been recorded in Bhagavad Gita and elaborated by Srila Prabhupada. So that's chapter 1. Arjuna is in stress. He doesn't want to fight. So that is Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Okay, second chapter. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to ask, otherwise it's going to take longer. So I'm just going to continue now. So in the second chapter, Krishna talked about Sankhya Yoga. So he says that you are upset about, killing your kinsman, but actually you are not the body. You are the spirit soul. And what is the size of spirit soul, and what are the qualities of, how najayate mriyate, it never came into being, and it never will come into being, it will never vanish, and na hanyate hanyamanam sarire. So regardless, you are not going to kill the soul, because soul cannot be killed. So then, obviously Arjuna was a little bit concerned that it's all well and good, but that doesn't mean that, what is the use of me acting then? What about action? And then Krishna talks about action, which is karma yoga. He says that what you need to do, action is inevitable, but you need to act without attachment to the results. So it's a basic form of karma yoga. Okay? And how do we put it in practice? We just work without basically any attachment, and that's going to bring us peace, right? At some level. Fourth chapter, Krishna is saying that he is the Supreme Lord. He is introducing himself. So first the soul is introduced, that you are the soul, and then Krishna says, I am the God. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he gives the transcendental knowledge, which means that, like, if you have that knowledge, you are doing your action without attachment to the results. But he says that you need to be also at the same time having the knowledge who he is, who is Krishna. So he says you keep this knowledge, and then your work will turn into spiritual progress. Whatever ordinary action you are going to do will make spiritual progress. If you simply know who am I, then that is enough. So, and then he says that you need to get the knowledge from the authentic sources or the teachers. He quotes the verse, Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattva darshanam. So you need to go to a spiritual master and learn something. So that is chapter 4, that is transcendental knowledge. In chapter 5, we are not going to go through this. Okay, chapter 5 is the higher level, or the potentially the highest level of basically karma yoga, and that is action in Krishna consciousness. So not only he is asking that you work without attachment, but he is also asking to offer the results to who?
Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. Don't go to sleep, please. You need to offer results to Krishna. So perform your duties fully, but surrender the results to Krishna. So now he is saying that you do work without attachment, and then he says you should have knowledge, and now he is saying you need to offer the results to Krishna. And then the verse that we looked at was Bhoktaram Yaketapasham. So Krishna is the enjoyer. We are not the enjoyer. He is the supreme enjoyer. And he says he's Sarvaloko Maheshwaram. He is the top boss. And then he says that, like, he stays within each jiva's heart. And when you know that he is there and he is the benefactor and well-wisher of everybody, that is going to bring you peace. This is the peace formula. When you know that, like, whatever you do, you are not going to enjoy this thing, or nobody else is going to enjoy it, that makes you feel more peaceful, right? When if you are not going to enjoy, and if somebody else is going to enjoy, then that might make you feel a little bit, like envious. But when you know that it's not neither him, her, or nobody, it's the Supreme. He's the only enjoyer, and then that brings some peace into us, simply because he is in our heart, sitting there. He is the well-wisher. Okay, so that is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the topmost level of Karma Yoga. Okay. Then in chapter 6, Krishna said that, like, because Arjuna asked that, like, what about renunciation? And then Krishna goes on to describe the Dhyana Yoga, in which the highest perfection in yoga. Okay, so basically he talks about different Ashtanga Yoga, and you can do this and you can do that. One of the most important part of chapter 6, which is important not only for the Dhyana Yogis but also for the Bhakti Yogis and everybody else, is what? Anyone? Chapter 6, come on. You can do it. Mind control. So Krishna talks about, what is the verse? Bandhuratmatmanastasya yena atmana jitaha anatmanastu satrutve varte tam eva satruvat. A mind can be your friend and it can be your enemy, depending on how you control it. If you control it, he becomes your friend, and if you cannot control him, then the mind becomes your enemy, the worst enemy, Krishna says. And I think almost all of us have experienced it in our lives. However, after the chapter 6 about Ashtanga Yoga and the yogis and the meditation, all that is over, the last verse Krishna says that this is all well and good, but yoginam api sarvesham matgatena antaratmana Saddhavan bhajante yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. So he says, it's my opinion that although yogis are also good, but the best of them, who is the best of them? He is the one who focuses on me, who meditates upon me, Krishna says. That is the best of the yogis. So again, who meditates upon Krishna? It's the bhakti yogis. So Krishna is saying this is all good, but bhakti yoga is better. So that is chapter 6. Then we went to knowledge of the absolute. So here Krishna is giving more knowledge about himself. So we started with the process of, like this is like sambandha, avidaya and prayojana. So sambandha means the relationship. So in the chapter 1 or chapter 2, he introduced that you are a spirit soul. Who you are a spirit soul. In the 4th chapter, Krishna says that who he is the Supreme Lord. And now he is going to talk about in the knowledge of absolute more information about who Krishna is and and what does he do. We did go through some of those verses last time, but one of the verses that I really like is mattah parataram nanyat kinchit asti jantananjaya mai sarva idam protam sutre manigana eva. So what Krishna is saying that there is no one higher than me. There is no one superior to me. And then he says that everything is resting upon me. And then he describes it beautifully, how everything is resting upon him. He is as if in the thread within a necklace, basically. So it means that he is not seen, right? Where you don't the best quality. How do you know the necklace is well made? If you cannot see the thread. So that's how this entire creation is created so perfectly that you cannot see who is entirely resting upon. That is the beauty of the creation that Krishna has made. So he talks about that. There are a lot of other verses, but like I said, let's go forward. There is like in the remaining chapters what Krishna is talking about. So again, I hope you are still with me. Karma Yoga, advanced Karma Yoga, and now he is giving knowledge about the absolute, because you need that knowledge if you want to pray to anyone. At least you should know who you pray to, or if you want to, highest, topmost. What is our hope, or what is our goal? Basically, is love of Godhead, right? If you want to love someone, then you have to know that person, right? Without knowing, you cannot love anybody. So then Krishna is giving here the knowledge of the absolute. Who is Krishna and what does he do? Okay. Then the next chapter, which is attaining the Supreme. So we went from Sambandha to Abhidaya. Abhidaya means the process. He's saying karma means, what is the process? Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, all those are the different processes to go to him. Now he's going to talk about the prayojan. Does everybody understand prayojan means? What does prayojan mean?
Arrangement? Need?
No, not need. Prayojan means
something which you are obliged to do. Something, obligation, like
Karan.
no.
execution of some duties.
When we speak this in Hindi, it's like say, okay, or at least in Gujarati.
Something when we
Arrangement,
organize,
arrangement.
something prayojan.
How, if somebody is coming to your home, then you ask, what's your prayojan?
Purpose.
Or the goal. Basically, that's the last part, which is our purpose. What should be our purpose in life, or the goal of our life, basically. So, and that is to attain the Supreme. So in this particular chapter, Krishna is describing how we can actually achieve that goal. Like he's starting from this chapter, describing how we can, and there's different ways that he's describing in this chapter. And one of that is highlighted here, and that is Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhava yanti nasti tatra ashanshaya. He says, Antakale cha mameva. He says, at the time of leaving your body, what you are going to, if you want to come back to me, to mameva, then how? Smarana muktava kalevaram. You understand what is kalevaram means? Kalevaram means the covering. So that is our body. So our body. Smarana muktava kalevaram. So when you are leaving your kalevaram or your body, at that time smarana. Smarana means you need to remember Krishna. And then asanchaya. He says there is no doubt that you will come to me. You will attain my nature. That's what Krishna is saying. So that is just one of the ways that he is showing. I'm going to go to the verses in chapter 8 and I'm going to look at some of those verses. We'll try to be quick, but I feel that there is more value in looking at some of the verses before we move on to the next chapter. Because these are some of the most important chapters in Bhagavad Gita. These are like the jewels within the chapter 8, attaining the Supreme. So then Arjuna is asking, what is Brahman and what is the self? So he is describing all those things. So we'll just look at some of the verses here. One of the one, Antakalecha, we already looked at, which is text 5 here, Antakalecha Mameva. We looked at, so that is one of the ways you can go back to Krishna. What is the other? And he continues that he says that like whatever state of being one remembers when he quits. If you are thinking about an elephant while you are dying, then you are going to get the body of elephant. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita there is a circle of life. In that, Krishna is like the painter has described that like the one person is killing the cow. So he is looking at the cow while he is killing the cow, and cow is looking at the human. So like it's going to be an exchange at the time of death. What's going to happen? The cow is going to become human, and this guy is going to become a cow or even lower than that, but basically animal body. Is going to get the animal body. So it's whatever state of being one remembers when he quits the body, that's what he is going to attain without fail, Krishna says. So that's why he says what you need to do, you need to think about me. Always think of Krishna, and that is the only way you will come back to me. He says Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. That means you need to practice. If you don't practice, then you are not going to remember me at the end of the life. When it's time to die, you are not going to remember me. You need to do practice. Okay? And then let me see if there are any important. So he talks about how even the Jnana yogis can achieve him. And he says that they have to do the Omkara and different ways. So he's not saying that only Bhakti yogis will go back. He says others can also go back, but this is the way that they need to go. He describes about how yogis have to, I don't even remember. You need to, bring the life air between your, eyebrows, and then, let the life go from top of your head. So that's the way that, yogis are going to achieve Krishna. And then he talks about that there are different times of time which are auspicious, and there are times which are inauspicious. So he talks about those also. And then he talks about Sahasra Yug Paryantam. I'm not going to go too much into the detail. Vedantis. Okay. So I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does not come back. So there are times, if it is inauspicious time, then they have to come back basically. Okay. Shukla Paksha, Krishna. So two ways of passing, one in the light and one in the darkness. One who passes in the light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns.
So what do you mean light and dark? You mean morning and night?
Night. day and night basically. So those who passes in night, they have to come back. That's what Krishna is saying here. But all these rules does not apply to bhakti yogis. Simply because it doesn't matter to them. They are, and even if they have to come back, it still doesn't matter to them. That is the more important part, because wherever they are, all they want to do is to serve Krishna and his devotees. It doesn't matter. So it is not important to them where they head to. So he says here that although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjun, they never are bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. He says that's very important. He says that a person who accepts the path of devotional service, this is the last verse, he is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, pursuing philosophical or fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional activities, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So, as I told you, each chapter ends with emphasizing that this is all good, but just remember that devotee is safe under all circumstances. He is going to be, that is the best yoga that you can do under all circumstances. People blame Iskcon, that why Iskcon always keeps talking about bhakti yoga. There's so many yogas are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Jnana yoga, karma yoga, the Jnana yoga, all those are mentioned here. Why Iskcon is saying that? But they do not have the understanding of the heart of Bhagavad Gita. And heart of Bhagavad Gita is, you can see the path that Krishna is taking. At the end of each chapter, he is taking you back to, but you better be the Bhakti Yogi. You go to the Bhakti Yoga. So, if people don't want to understand, that's too bad, right? But it is what it is. He says, Bhaktosi me, Priyosi me. He says, since you are my devotee and you are my friend, that is why you are most, I like you the most, and that is why you will come back to me. So, okay, let's go to the chapter 9. Let's look at the slide first. Okay, any questions, comments on chapter 8? We can go. Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. So then he says that, since you are my devotee and you are also my friend and I like you very much, I'm going to give you the most confidential knowledge. And I'm going to, I don't give this out so easily to anybody. I'm going to give this to you because you are my devotee and you are my friend also. So apparently he is becoming partial, but he is not partial. That also he will talk about. So this is the most confidential knowledge, in which he's going to talk about the, how Krishna deals with his devotees. It's very important to understand how Krishna deals with his devotees. One of the verses, I believe, in this chapter has many good verses, and one of the verses where he speaks about that how he is the father. He says, Pitaham, Mata, Tata. So there is a very beautiful verse. So we'll go to some of those verses and see what he's talking about in this particular chapter. And this particular verse is also very beautiful. This one is where he says that, Yoga Kshemam Vahamiham. So he's promising that he's not only going to protect us, but he's going to uplift us. So it doesn't matter. He says that if you have something, then I'm going to protect it. And and whatever you are lacking, I'm going to provide that. Yoga Kshemam Vahami Aham. He says, I'm going to fulfill whatever deficiencies you may have. That is what father do. Father, he's not a boss. He's father. So he says that I'm going to help you out. Don't worry. Just take one step towards me. and then I'm going to do the rest. Just our kid, if they are not, although we mean well, many times our kids don't want to do what we want them to, like we what we think is better for them. But doesn't mean that we start to hate our children, do we? All we do is we try to be, gentle, and somehow hope and pray that he will come back to one day, and he will actually understand what you need and what is your feelings, right? So Krishna is feeling. He has given us the freedom. He has given us that, okay, you can do whatever you want to. Your choice is always yours. But I'm telling you, this is good for you. And this way, you will get out of all the problems that you are facing. And someday, hopefully, we will also listen to him, right? And we will, believe in him. We will have that conviction, that faith that he means well. He can never do anything wrong to us. Let's look at chapter 9. Okay, so it says, because, the first line, my dear Arjun, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart you the most confidential knowledge. Srila Prabhupada has written a book on this chapter. What's the book's name?
Raja Yoga.
Raj Vidya, or Raj Yoga.
Raj Vidya.
So this is the king of knowledge, basically. This is the king of education. Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam, Pavitram, Idam, Uttamam. Okay, and let's look at some of the very beautiful verses in this chapter. This is one of the most favorite chapter for me. So he talks about how he is, in his unmanifested form, he is pervading the entire universe. He says, everybody is in me, but I'm not in them. And okay, so he talks about that mighty wind, how, understand that the mighty wind blowing everywhere rest always in the sky. The same way the all created beings rest in me. Sarva Bhutani Konteya, Prakritim Yanti Mamikam. Material manifestation enter into my nature. Cosmic order is under me. Everything is Prakritim, is the nature is all in my control, and it is behaving exactly as I am asking the nature to work. So he says, work cannot bind me, and although work cannot bind me, I am still here and doing everything that a human does. And this is Maya Dakshina Prakriti Shuyate Sucharacharam Hetuna Hete Konteya Jagat Parivartate. He says everything is under my direction. And then he's a little bit upset in this particular verse. He's Avajananti Mamamuda Manushim Tanum Ashritam Param Bhavam Jananto Mama Bhuta Maheshwara. He says, fools deride me. They cannot understand me. I descend in the human form, and they think that I am just a normal human being. They don't know my transcendental nature, and that I am the supreme. Okay. So this 14th verse is also important. He says, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatatanta Dradravata. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. Everybody gets benefit. So that's what he says. Aham kartu. Yeah, this 17. This is the one that I was talking. Pitaham asya jagato mata data pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara rukka sama yajurevacha. He says, I am the father of this universe. He doesn't say that I am, a manager. He's not a manager. What he says, he's the father of the universe and the mother. If you feel, that father, no, mother also. And then he says, I support and I'm the support, and he says, I'm the grandest. I am also Pita Maha. Even father's father also I am. Whatever you think, I am there. He says, I am the object of the knowledge, and I am also the Rig, Sam, and Yajur Vedas. He says, I give heat. I withhold the sand from the rain. Trividyam Mam. So those who study the Veda drink the Soma juice. They worship me indirectly, but they do it in a wrong way. Sarvaloka Vishalam. Ananyaschintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripasate. He says, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, For them, we just read Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So those who worship the devas, they go to the Devaloka, and those who worship me, they come to me. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. So and then he gives this beautiful verse. He says, you know, what he's doing, like, I mean, he says that, like, there are different aspects of myself. I can be the one who is like a, you know, Narayan or Vishnu, who is more like a manager, but I am also the father. So he's trying to distinguish between the other part and his part. And then he says that if anyone even offers me with love, even, you know, a leaf, a flower, fruit or flower, I will accept it. That's what he's trying to tell here. That, you know, like, I don't need many things, like, or very, very big things, or very, you know, costly things, or anything like that. What he says, what I need is love. He says, if you give patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. He says, if you do it with love and devotion, then I will accept it, whatever you offer. However tiny it may be. It may be just a leaf. But if you have the love, then I will accept it. Krishna says. And then he gives the, you know, like the heart of Krishna consciousness verse, where it says what you need to do, what is the process, how you can, you know, come to me. Yat karoshi, yat snasi, yat juhoshi, dadasi yat. Jat tapasyeshi kaunteya, tat kurushva mad arpana. He says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, O son of Kunti, do it as an offering to me. That's it. That's all you need to do in your life, and you are going to be perfectly Krishna conscious if you can follow this particular verse. Nothing else is needed. Then he says that I am not, you know, partial to anyone. He says samoham sarvabhuteshu. So he's telling all of his, you know, characteristics. How does he relate to all the devotees? How does he deal with all the devotees? How does he deal with all living beings, all entities, living entities? He says samoham sarvabhuteshu. I am not partial to anyone. And he says I am equal to all, but whoever renders service, then he puts in that. But if somebody, you know, renders service to me in devotion or as a friend, he is in me and I am also a friend to him. Does it make him partial? What do you think? He is reciprocating. He is not, you know, like Sadhujanan Prabhu is more, you know, my friend than anybody else. No, he doesn't do it that way. If one person is doing something, then he reciprocates that. He reciprocates that love. So if say I am not doing anything for Krishna, and if Satyajanand Prabhu is doing everything, then obviously he will reciprocate to him, and he will not reciprocate to me because I am not doing anything to reciprocate. For him to reciprocate, right? So is Krishna okay? That's I feel that's my job here, to make sure that Krishna's name should not be tarnished in any way. So that is what I am trying to do here. So, and this is one of the hope-giving verse for me. It says, "Api chet suduracharo pachate yo mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavya samyagya vasito visam." He says, even if you commit the most abominable of the actions, if you are still engaged in devotional service, bhajate mam ananya bhak, then you are considered as saintly and you are properly situated in spiritual devotion. So he is willing to forgive you for even the worst of the sins that you may have committed in your life or in your previous life or whatever. As long as you are devotionally situated, then I will let you do that. No issues. He says you are properly placed in that case. And then in the next verse, he goes, you know, he gives that assurance. He says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. You are going to become a dharmatma very quickly. If you just continue to become the devotee, if you are going to continue your devotional service, then you will continue to go into, you will become a dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Shashvat Santi Nikachati Kontaya Pratijanihi. He promises here. What does he say? Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. What does it mean? My devotee will never perish. If you are a devotee and even if you make mistake, that's it. Just stay on the path. If you fall down, that is acceptable. But if you don't get up, then that's it. So this is what Krishna's nature and Krishna's, relationship with all of us is. Anybody who takes shelter in me, I will, they can attain the supreme destination, he says. And in the last verse, he again goes back to being a devotee. I mean, he was already talking about it, but the final verse is always that. It says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto. You know how many times this verse is repeated in Bhagavad Gita? This is the only verse which is repeated in Bhagavad Gita. 3 times. It's not exactly the same, but it is, most of the words are and meaning is same. So why would someone of Krishna's stature repeat something? Why? It's important. And he wants us to understand that, like, Manmana bhava mat bhakto. He says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, you will surely come. So that's chapter 9. Everybody good? Happy? We can go on and make some mistakes now.
Not intentional.
Yes. Even if you make it intentionally, he is kind of all forgiving. Still, he describes the hell and other things in the later chapters where he is describing different types of hells. And at that time, he speaks a verse where he is really, really upset, so to say. He appears to be very upset in that particular verse. Okay, so that's chapter 9. After giving the most confidential knowledge, does everybody know that in chapter 10, technically, Bhagavad Gita completes? Chapter 10 is basically where the main Bhagavad Gita is completed. And after that is an extra knowledge that Arjuna is asking for. And there are these 4 verses within Bhagavad Gita are called Chaturshloki. Chaturshloki means which are 4 verses. So these 4 verses are considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And that is why this is the chapter where we call it. Why do we? Does anyone know? Why do we say that like Bhagavad Gita ends here? Any specific reasons or anything that you know? So after this particular, these are the 4 most important verses in entire Bhagavad Gita. And after this, Arjuna accepts in the next verses that Krishna, Param Brahman, Param Dhamam, he says that you are the Supreme Lord. And once he accepts that part, basically he accepted that whatever he said is true. And his illusion is basically gone. Though he doesn't speak that particular verse of Nashto Moham until the chapter 18, but doesn't matter. He basically accepts Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and then he, ask more and more questions to know more about it. Okay? So, if you quickly look at this, let's look at this chapter's verses, chapter 10. So, the affluence of the Absolute, the title is. So the first verse, what Krishna is saying. Sorry, I hope everybody is still okay. Should we go on or?
Yes, probably.
Alright. So he starts with this that that since you are my dear friend, I want to give you even more important knowledge than what I just said, that which is the most important. So more than most important, something I'm going to give you in this chapter. So that is what this chapter is all about. So we'll just quickly browse through the chapter's verses. He says in chapter, these are the verses, important verses. Aham sarvasya prabho. So what does it mean? He says, I am the source of everything. That's the first thing. So this is the first verse. So he is just, like in 4 verses, entire essence of Bhagavad Gita is covered. He says, first of all, he introduces who is he. And he says, I am the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarva pravartate iti matta bhajante ma buddha bhav samanvitaha. He says that if you understand that I am the source of everything, and if you engage in my devotional service, then you worship me with all your heart. So that's the first thing he says. And then second thing, mat chitta mat gata prana bodhayanta parasparam katyanta sha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Then he says that, okay, who is the sambandha? First of all, he talks about the sambandha. Then he talks about again the abhidaya or the process. He says, what do you need to do? What you need to do? My devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another, conversing about me. He is not saying here in this important verse that you need to do austerities. He doesn't say that you need to go and do meditation. He's not putting you into any kind of difficulties. What is he saying? He says tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Just enjoy, enlighten. You get will get great satisfaction just by talking to other devotees and just just know about me. This will all be very blissful for you. He doesn't talk about that you must do this kind of austerity, or you need to do meditation, or you need to do this or that. Nothing. He said just converse about me, talk about me, and that is enough. And that's what he is going to do. He says tesam satadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvatam dadami buddhi yogam te yena mam upiyanti te. He says, for those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them understanding. So what he does, he is going to give you the intelligence. He is going to dadami buddhi yogam ta. I am going to give you the buddhi, means intelligence. And then what is going to happen is that tesham evanu anukampartha mahajagnanam jam tamaha. So he says, to show them special mercy, I am dwelling in their hearts and destroy their ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge. So he is going to give you the intelligence by which you can go back to the Parajan, which is to him. Go back to him. So this is how he described the entire process or essence of Bhagavad Gita in these 4 verses. And then, as I said, Arjuna is going that Param Brahmam Dhamam, Param Dhamam, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam. So he says, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are ultimate abode. And he says that all the sages, Narad, Ashita, they all described this before. And now you yourself are declaring this unto me. And then he praises Krishna. He talks about, everything that Krishna said, he is repeating. It just means he accepted. He accepted everything that Krishna has told him to do. And then let's go to I don't think I'm missing anything. So he talks about, who he is and all those things. He says, among the cows, I am Surabhi. He says, I'm Kandharva, I'm procreation. And I'm Vasuki among the serpents. And he says, among the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. And among the aquatics, I am demigod Varuna. So he's highlighting everything that, which is the best in the entire creation. And he says, that is who I am. So, and then he talks about among devotees, who am I? I'm Prahlad, he says. And among the beast, I'm lion, he says. And among the birds, I'm Garuda. And he says, talks about the wind and how, wielders of weapons, I'm Ram, I'm Lord Ram. That's also he talks about. There may be some difference of opinion there, but that's fine. And among the letters, I am the letter A, he says A. And among the compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time. Time I am, right? So he says that. And I'm the creators of, among the creators, I am Brahma, he says. So when he's saying all these things, why is he saying all those things? Does it mean that so Brahma is Krishna? Is he saying that? Is he saying that among the warriors, I am Arjun? So does it mean that he is Arjun? What is he trying to tell us? What is he trying to tell us is described in this particular verse here. Yad yad vibhutivat sattvam srimad urjitam evava tat tat eva gachatvam mama tejo ansa sambhava. What he's saying is that wherever you see the vibhuti or something which is extraordinary, that is just a spark of me. He says, mama tejo ansa sambhavam. So I am the spark of, or the vibhuti of anything that you see which is, very brilliant, very intelligent, very strong, then consider that is my ans. So that is all because of me. So he's just saying that he says, I am the potency of the potent. If you are very potent, then the potency is me. That's what he's saying. So, but in the end, he says, why would you need this much knowledge? You don't need this much knowledge, he says, because with a single fragment of myself, I can pervade and support the entire universe. You don't need to know all these things. There is so much to know that it is not important for you to know everything. He says, Vedesu Sarveshu Aham Eva Vedaya. Entire Vedas, what is to be known is me, he says. You don't need to study Vedas. You need to know me, because the purpose of Vedas is to know me and not to get any power or anything special from that. So this is chapter 10. That's where Bhagavad Gita ended. So let's see how much we can do. Basically, the Bhagavad Gita has ended, so maybe we can go a little faster and finish the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So let's try that. Maybe I will not go to every verse like the way that I have gone so far. We'll go to the slideshow and let's try and finish this Bhagavad Gita today. Chapter 11, he shows the universal form. And when he shows the universal form, what is the timeless principle that we learn from that? That all creation exists within Krishna. The infinite is beyond ordinary perception. So everything is existing in Krishna, and infinite, whatever is, it's beyond our understanding basically. This universal form is beyond our understanding. And the verse that I have picked up here is from 11:51, which means that when Arjun, when he saw the universal form, he gets bewildered. He gets, afraid. He's fearful. And then when he's afraid and fearful, then he says that, Krishna, thank you so much for showing me your wonderful form, but I really prefer your two-handed form, which is, much more closer, near, and I'm happy with that form. So I just don't want to, all this opulence and all this, big form. I don't want to really go for that. So what is important here is that for us, we cannot have a relationship with a universal form. Because universal form is too big for our perception and we cannot have any. Ultimately, everything boils down to only one thing, and that is connection. When you make connection with Krishna, and you cannot make a connection with the universal form. So what you need is a simple human-like form that Krishna has, which is two-handed form. Okay? So that is what we can understand from this particular chapter. The practical application is that instead of being paralyzed by the big picture anxiety, whenever we are, when we are in anxiety, usually we see the problems that is going to come in the future. So right now we may not have a problem, but we are going to anticipate the problem in the future, and we make it bigger and bigger. So after this is bad, and after that this is going to happen, after that that is going to happen, and everything is going to be perished. And that is what is the problem. So when we look at that kind of a big picture of anxiety, then we get paralyzed. But just the way Arjuna was paralyzed, we need to have a personal relationship so that we feel that Krishna is the protector. And Avashya Rakshite Krishna. So when that personal relationship is built, then everything becomes okay. So that is the practical application. Instead of focusing on the bigger picture or what's going to happen tomorrow, let's focus on today and take guidance from Krishna and get some comfort from Krishna. Okay? Chapter 11. Let's go to chapter 12. Bhakti Yoga. So this is, our chapter in a way, but entire Bhagavad Gita has Bhakti Yoga spread all throughout. So it's not necessarily just this particular chapter. But Arjuna asked in this chapter, the first verse in this chapter, Arjuna asked this question: what is better? Is the sannyas yoga is better or bhakti yoga is better? And then Krishna is giving clear answer. He says in the second verse itself, he says that actually it is the bhakti yoga which I like. I believe that is what I'm most happy with. So that's bhakti yoga. There is a verse here which I said, Krishna says that those who fix their mind on my personal form. Again, bhakti yoga is always personal form. It is never the effulgence or it is never the formless part of Krishna that we talk about. It's always the personal form. He says, those who fix their mind on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. So that is the chapter 12, which is Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Chapter 13, nature, the enjoyer and the consciousness. So self-realization comes through cultivating divine qualities. So he talks about what are the qualities of a devotee or a divine person or a sage. What are their qualities? He talks about nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. So the practical application here we can see there is a verse 13.8 to 12 where all the good qualities are mentioned there. And what is the application for that? Is humility, non-violence, patience, honesty, all these good things. These qualities reduce the conflicts in the practical life. If you can adopt any of these qualities, then you can reduce conflict, stress, and ego-driven behavior. And we can, increase our clarity, focus, and positive relationships. So that's the practical application of this particular chapter where we learn about all the very good qualities of a devotee. Okay? So next week we'll take the exam. So everybody please pay attention. Okay. Chapter 14, he talks about the three modes of material nature. And here he talks about how we are not the doers. But these three modes are, we are like puppets. He says the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance is pulling us into different directions. We are like puppets. And that's how we behave the way that we behave. And what is the practical application for this is that when somebody is misbehaving or somebody is being bad with you, at that time, instead of thinking that this person is, like such a bad person, remember, he is not the doer. What is happening? He's a puppet, and those modes are pulling him into different directions. So that will, bring peace into your mind. That I know that he is not, behaving nicely with me, but I can just forgive him because I know he is under the influence of certain modes.
And in best brain,
Okay.
I have
Any comments, questions? Chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Krishna is the Supreme Person and eternal source of all, and is to be known through the study and understanding of all Vedas. So that's where I quoted that verse where, that he is to be known from the Vedas. So study scriptures, reflect what is application, apply their teachings in the daily life, remembering that all Vedic wisdom points to Krishna, ultimately. The words I quoted, Sarvasya Chaham Radha Hridhi Sannidishto Mattah Smrutir Gnanam Apohanam Cha Vedesha Sarvam Aham Eva Vedyo Vedanta Kruta Veda Videva Chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Okay? Chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures. This is the chapter where, if you read the the description of what are the qualities of the people who are demoniac in nature, when we read that, many times it happens that we align more with the demon than a good person, but at least that will bring us to the awareness where we are and who we are. So I highly recommend that you read this chapter so that at least solution of the problem, half of that is just knowing that there is a problem, right? If you don't know the problem, then how can we solve that problem? So he says in 16:21, Trividam Narkashet Dwaram Nashana Atmana. He says Kram, Krodha, Sata, Lobh. What are the three doors to the hell? Are Kam, Krodh, and Lobh. So what is Kam? Kam is lust, anger, and greed. So these are the doors to hell. That is what Krishna is saying. Get rid of these anarthas from you.
So by default, as a human, we will have one of this for sure, no matter how much we do.
When we read this, then we look at this lust, anger, and greed, and Krishna is saying these are the doors to the hell, and then we say, okay, can I fix this? And then a big no comes from within, truly speaking that no, I cannot fix this. These are built into me. How am I going to fix this? And then get a little disappointed that means I'm going to hell. This is a door to hell.
I
Right?
mean, stopping this, you are just disowning everything in life and
Yes.
going to forest or Kailash, and you just don't need. You're just fine.
Yes.
But to live in this world, you have to, whether you want or you don't want.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can get rid of these things. You can become a devotee, and you don't have to go to Kailash for that. You can control these things, and it is possible. And many devotees and many many people have done this thing. So
Lobe
no,
seems
it's
to be
not
very
impossible.
tough, Prabhuji. Lobe can be for the food, for the
You
clothes,
can,
for
yes.
the luxuries in life.
These three are very easily conquered once Krishna comes in the center. Very easily, really. It's not difficult at all. Because when everything is as Krishna, everything is coming from Krishna. Lust. You disappear.
I'm not the enjoyer. You just
Yeah, he is the enjoyer. So
He is the enjoyer.
Enjoyer, the purpose, anchor. You get just now you just told that anger comes because disappointment or somebody hurts or something. But then you know that nothing is anger is because of the disappointment. The disappointment happens because our disappointment. Then when you surrender to Krishna, you say, okay, this is what best for me. Not even that, because we know that Krishna can never do. So when we follow his instruction and the greed, well, how much like even when I was yesterday only thinking about Ford, what is his name?
Amrish.
Amrish Prabhu, huh? Amrish Prabhu. So he has everything, but here he left everything. Even Jai Pataka Maharaj. When you look at it, he has everything, but the satisfaction they get, I don't need to all these many things. And I have been watching. There is one. मेरे को second when you कोने लगी छे. हाँ, मुकुंद गोस्वामी की thread આવે છે. That is one thread. So movies thread or something coming, and one guy is in that. His father comes and give him the like a car key and move like it's a white guy in US. Like this is happened. Have you seen that? Yes, you did. And then next is somebody else comes. The second reel is coming that, and that the person is saying, you have all the answers. I don't need this car. I don't need this thing. I'm happy. I really found my happiness. And then, yeah, you really found all answers. We are still struggling. That is the. So I don't think so. The bhakti is the only way that all these three things can be conquered very easily.
You know, one important thing when Arjun asked this question, that like how I'm being impelled to do things which I'm not, I should not be doing. I know, but I'm still as if being forced by something. And Krishna gives the answer to in one word. He says it is lust, it is calm only. So what I'm trying to tell is that you don't need to look at as three anarthas. This is only one anartha. You stop one and the remaining two will come under control automatically. So if you can control the lust, and then you will get rid of the other two very easily. So, and in Krishna consciousness, one thing is always being emphasized is that we don't talk about controlling, but we always talk about the like higher test. We talk about the higher test. If you ask someone that you shouldn't have any lust, that may not go very well with that person, because it's like coming, like you just can't get rid of it. But if you can get something which is higher test, then param drashtva nivardate. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, param. So something which is higher. Then when you get a higher taste, then automatically the lower taste will fall down. That is how we see it. If we try to say that no, stop the lower taste, then that is going to produce some rebellion within a person. How can you say that I should stop it? You tell someone not to do something, and that's the only thing that they will do. So that's the problem. That is why you have to say that don't do this thing. No, do this, and then that will pull that person into that direction.
So whatever example you have given, Mata, we know that people had everything and they left.
Yes.
And then get into complete bhakti and the devotion. To leave everything, you should first get everything to leave. The people who doesn't have anything, what we are going to leave?
It's like
We're still struggling.
So someone is telling that this is poison, don't drink this thing. Then what would you do? Would you taste it to check if it is a poison or not?
But these things,
so just believe in those who have already seen these things. If I say that you shouldn't be a rich person, then you will laugh at me that your grapes are sour. You don't have any money.
So I have seen people.
What is it? What is the benefit of that?
People don't listen to you, Prabhuji. If we are listening to you or anybody else, any of the devotee who comes over here, because they have achieved, they have left, and we see actually this is the thing. But for us, if going with the same rule or principle, let's say, what is the use of running behind kids? Study, get into a good college, get into a good job. No, you don't need anything. Whatever you're getting, you should be just fine. But life not going to run in that way, right?
Everything
they need
depends
minimum
on,
thing. They have to be competitive. They have to do
yes,
good wherever they
those
are.
are all different things. But the only thing that matters is that if you really want something, you have to have the strongest desire that I really want this. The day your desire becomes so strong, then it will be very easy to leave anything that that you are supposed to leave. But it is our desire which is not becoming strong. That is the problem. Like if you want to see Krishna, what do you need? All you need is only one thing:
This desire.
desire. I want to see Krishna. That desire becomes so strong that nothing else will come.
But isn't it that is also greed of getting Krishna?
No, that is.
That greed is, that is what
spiritual.
Krishna
So
says,
we are
that
saying it's a good greed.
you
But it's
should
a greed.
have that
No.
greed. He says you should have that greed.
That means there is a greed. We can say
No,
good
But
greed,
that
bad greed.
again, there are two things.
No, logically I'm
No,
just
no,
trying to
telling you
understand.
that
I'm
there
not
are two
questioning you,
things, it's
Prabhuji.
material and that's spiritual. Anything material, it is bad. Anything spiritual, it is
Ah,
good.
so that means greed we need.
We
Right?
need greed,
Good,
but
good
it is
greed.
spiritual.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Prabhuji, one question is Krishna is everything. So, among lust, anger, and greed, what is Krishna?
No, that's actually is giving you the absence of Krishna. He's not.
He's not there.
He is not any of them.
This is
Just saying,
when
just
you have,
leave
when
that, then
Krishna
you
is
can.
absent, then these things come. So like when Krishna is absent from your heart and your mind, then Kama, Krodha and Lobh comes into it.
So, but this is also because Krishna make everything. So, this is also in our if we have this
It's-
thing, this is also
It's a
made by.
characteristics. It's not something. It's not anything tangible that we can say that Krishna made it. It's more like it's how you feel. Calm. You can't quantify calm, or you can't really see calm or anything like that. It's what you feel, right? Like basically. So it's not very tangible thing that we can say that Krishna made it. Krishna made it. It's not Krishna made it, but it is, those things are required. These are like the ropes. These are the ropes of the material world. Why are you here in this place? Those are, yes, they are in a way they are made by Krishna. That is true, but for a purpose, to keep you here in this material world.
So basically, if you
This is a
connect-
reformation. This is a jail.
Yeah, this
This
is
is-
connected to the mode of three modes basically.
Yes.
Depending on the three modes which you have.
Yeah, which is also part of the material energy, which is also part of the nature. So this is, three modes of material nature, we say. So this is also part of the material world. So these are the things, everything is created because one fine day, the Jiva told Krishna that I want to enjoy, and I want to enjoy separately. And then Krishna, like the father that he is, he said, I'm telling you it's not a good idea, but if you insist, so be it. He lets us go. And when we come here, because we are not the enjoyer, and only Krishna is enjoyer, only Purush and Prakriti. So Purush, there is only one Purush in the creation, and that is Krishna. And rest all is to be enjoyed. Not to enjoy, it is to be enjoyed, and by Krishna. Everything else, we are all Prakriti. And we are Prakriti, that is why we are to be enjoyed by Krishna. But we get envious. And we want to not only, Krishna is making, we are happy there, but that happiness is not enough for us. We want it separate. He says, I want my own kingdom. I want to be like you, separately, not with you. And that's where the whole problem starts. That since you are not the Purusha, you can't enjoy. So he gives us the glimpses, or he gives us the exact perverted reflection of the happiness that you get in the spiritual world. And that is what all this in this world, when like all this ahar, nidra, bhaya, maitunam, all and everything that you see is a perverted reflection of the happiness that you get is a reflection of the actual bliss that you can feel in the spiritual world. So this is the deal that you're gonna get, and this is to keep you here because you need reformation. If you are if Krishna takes you with this condition of kama, krodha, lobha, then we are going to spoil the entire spiritual world. Right? So like you can't have it. Why we keep people in the jail? Because they need to reform. So we need to get better. once we get better, then this kama, krodha, lobha, nothing will matter. And he says in Bhagavad Gita that everything is like all this creation and all this conditional life is, you can cross it over in as if, although it is the Vaitarni, which is the ocean, you can easily cross it over just as if it is a pada, vatsa pada, vatsa pada. Vatsa means the cow's baby, calf, his footprint. And if there is a water, how easily you can cross that? You can cross this ocean of nescience in like that easily if you just take Krishna's name. Nothing else is required. So he's giving all the ways how you can escape this jail. But you don't want to. You are in a jail and you want to make an AC there. You want to put an AC there. You don't want to get out of there. So what can he do? He's still sending devotees so that you can, make sense of this thing, that understand this, you are stupid and you are doing, you need to get out of this place. He sends Prabhupada, right? And then how many people are going to go and listen to Prabhupada? Only a few.
So what happened to them, Prabhuji, people who doesn't listen? I mean, I'm just asking about the things we have, while growing up, we have heard saying, right? You'll go to heaven or a hell. Hell में कोई तो
hell बस hell में जाएंगे और किससे
hell
वापस
में
आएंगे?
लोग होते हैं जो
Simple है।
oil में you'll get fried
Yeah.
for all
So
your thing. Is that
there is a
true or?
description, Mataji.
इस भागवतम में लिखा
There is
है।
a description,
It's true.
हाँ,
full description.
होगा सब कुछ होगा।
I forgot the worst of the hells, Rava, yeah. So that is one of the worst hells that you can go into. Different types of hells, Mataji. You have a
That's
choice.
So
You
that's
don't
true,
have to
right?
talk too much, Prabhuji. We want to provide up to
Sorry.
let's finish. Okay.
Let's finish the 2 chapters.
Two chapter, please.
Yes.
We'll
yes.
talk in while eating if you want to know more about hell. We'll.
I don't want to talk about it, but if you want to, I will
No,
give
I
you
just-
the direction
no,
where
I
it-
just checked. Is that true or is
Yeah,
that
it is
just,
true, absolutely true.
If
And
there
many
is a
people
God,
have
there is
experienced
no
this.
hell
You have to read the
heaven
books
there is
on
no
near-death experiences, and you will be able to hear
That is why-
Yamaduta's description. And the person who has never read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or not even Hindu, culture or anything like that, and that person is describing the Yamadutas there.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
brother always asks me, like he says like Krishna is our father. So if he is our father, how he let us fry in the hell, like जैसे वहाँ पे तलते हैं या और जो बहुत ज़्यादा पीड़ा वाली जो punishments होती हैं. So he says like if we are the children of Krishna, how he give us so much of punishment.
It's not that he gives these punishments. It is the cycle. It is the cycle of karma cycle, right? So you cannot escape that. Without doing the right things that you need to do. So it's not that when we say no to our children and children still do it, and at that time, they do get hurt, right? If we ask our kids that don't jump, otherwise you will fall down and break your bones, and if he still does it, what's going to happen? He's going to get it, right? But does it mean that Krishna is mean? Does it mean that you are not listening to Krishna? You turn to Krishna, and then those things will not matter. Even if you basically read this thing and understand or accept that you are the spirit soul, you are not the body, then also all this nark and everything will disappear. Simply because you know that it cannot matter to you. You are the spirit soul. So there's in the 17th chapter he talks about divisions of faith. Faith saves the result. There are different types of some people have faith like a banana tree. Some people have a faith like a banyan tree. So if your faith is shaken, that means you are like a banana tree faith. A little bit of wind and they can fall down. So the different types of faith is there, and he talks about all those things. So I can't go into too much detail right now, but we will, look at the last chapter, and that is the conclusion, which is the perfection of renunciation, in which Krishna says that you don't really need anything. You don't really need to do anything. All you need to do is, sarvadharman parityajam mam ekam sharanam vraja. Just take my shirt. And then he says, I will get rid of all your sins. He's giving all these things, right? If somebody is telling you that you just surrender to me and I will get rid of all your sins, and still you don't do it, is it that person's fault that you are going into the hell? You are going into hell because you are not listening. You just want to test it. Just taste the poison. What can be done? So this is the application is very simple. Surrender your decisions, actions, and thoughts to Krishna, and then liberation is guaranteed. He says that do not fear, ma shuchaha, and that is the important part, right? Avashya rakshide Krishna. Okay? And then I'm just giving you this. This is how we went from confusion. We started with confusion of Arjun. Then there was a clarity in the second chapter and third chapter, and then there was action in third, fourth chapter, and then he talked about in sixth chapter meditation. Then he talked about devotion in the remaining chapters, and then ultimately he talked about surrender. So that is the path of Bhagavad Gita. This is how the whole thing unfolds in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this final two verses that it's if you want to go back to Godhead, these are the two verses that Krishna gives here. He says that for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. So that's why I said Kaya Mataji is going and distributing Bhagavad Gita because this is the reason, right? He says it's guaranteed. And then in the last one he says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So the one who talks about my devotional service, the one who talks about this supreme secret that I am telling you to others is the most dear to me. That's what he is saying. And there is nobody else more dear to me than that particular person. So I hope that we can all someday become like that. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Haribol. Thank you, Kashyap Muni Prabhuji, for that wonderful lecture. So, Panchami Mataji has some announcements to share.
Okay, so we are not concluding his today class because it's lots of conclusion has happened. Number one, next Sunday, Krutu Maharaj is coming. Please share this information and make it best because it will be like he's a senior devotee and we are getting blessed by his presence, his blessings. So please come. 28